Let me tell you something. There comes a moment in life when you realize you've been too nice, too forgiving, too available. And what did it get you? Disrespect, neglect, people taking you for granted. You've been bending over backward for people who wouldn't even lift a finger for you. But today that stops. Today you make one decision, just one, and everything changes. You do this once, and I promise you, the way people treat you will never be the same again. There comes a time when you have to make a choice. Keep justifying yourself to people who don't even care to understand you, or stand firm in your truth and let them figure it out on their own. You've spent too much of your life explaining why you did what you did, why you said what you said, why you chose what you chose. And for what? For people who had already made up their minds about you before you even opened your mouth. You twist yourself into knots trying to be understood, trying to be accepted. But the more you explain, the less they respect you. The more you justify, the less they listen. Because people don't respect explanations. They respect certainty. They respect someone who knows exactly who they are and refuses to defend it. Every time you explain yourself, you hand them your power. You tell them their approval matters more than your conviction. You show them you're willing to question yourself just to make them comfortable. But you have to ask, why do you need to be understood by people who don't even take the time to understand themselves? Why do you need validation from people who barely know what they want? You've spent so much energy trying to make sure people don't misunderstand you, yet they still do. Not because you didn't explain it well enough, but because they never truly wanted to understand you in the first place. And you know what? That's not your problem anymore. The day you stop explaining yourself is the day you set yourself free. Free from the weight of expectations that were never yours to carry. Free from the frustration of repeating yourself to people who never intended to hear you. Free from the exhaustion of trying to prove yourself to people who already decided what they wanted to believe about you. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop seeking permission to be who you are, and that's when everything changes. People might not like it, they might get offended, but they will learn. They will learn that you're not someone who can be guilt-tripped, swayed, or manipulated into debating your own existence, because the truth is, the more you explain, the more you invite questioning. The more you defend, the more you signal doubt. And when people sense doubt, they push harder. They poke holes. They challenge you. But when you stand firm, when you say what you mean and leave it at that, people recognize certainty. And certainty is power. It forces people to think twice before questioning you. It forces them to accept your decisions not because they agree, but because they respect the strength behind them. Think about the strongest people you know. Do they explain themselves? Do they justify every step they take? No. They move with purpose. They make decisions and they stand by them. And because of that, people respect them. They may not always like them, but they respect them. And that is the difference between a person who is in control of their life and a person who is constantly being controlled by the opinions of others. You have to ask yourself, are you living for yourself or for their approval? Because every time you explain yourself, every time you justify your actions, you are seeking permission. And you don't need permission to be who you are. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you choose to protect your peace. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you set boundaries. You don't owe anyone an explanation for walking away from situations that no longer serve you. Your choices are yours. Your life is yours. And the people who truly respect you will never demand an explanation. They will never make you feel like you have to defend yourself for choosing what's best for you. But the ones who do, the ones who ask, why did you do that? Or, are you sure? Or, what will people think? They are the ones who never respected you to begin with. They only respected the version of you that was easy to manipulate. There is nothing wrong with making a decision and standing by it. There is nothing wrong with walking away from something and not feeling the need to explain why. You don't owe anyone an apology for choosing yourself. And the moment you stop explaining yourself, you take your power back. You take back every ounce of energy you wasted trying to make people understand you. And you finally start living on your own terms. You take back your confidence. You take back your authority over your own life. And people will feel that shift. They'll see it in the way you move, in the way you speak, in the way you no longer seek their approval. Some people will be uncomfortable with your silence. They'll try to provoke a response. They'll try to guilt trip you into explaining yourself. They'll say things like, "You've changed," or "You think you're better than us now." Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them create their own stories, because the people who truly matter will already know who you are, and the ones who don't, they were never meant to understand you anyway. When you stop explaining yourself, you become a mystery, and there is power in mystery. People start to wonder about you. They start to respect your decisions, not because they agree with them, but because they recognize that you are not someone who can be easily swayed. You become unpredictable, and unpredictability demands attention, it demands respect, it forces people to think twice before questioning you, before crossing your boundaries, before assuming they have the right to dictate your choices. And let's be honest, how much time have you wasted trying to explain yourself to people who never really cared to understand? How much energy have you spent defending your choices to people who would have criticized you no matter what you did? It's time to reclaim that energy. It's time to stop explaining and start living. Because the truth is, people don't need to understand you. They just need to respect you. And respect isn't earned through explanations. It's earned through action. So from this moment forward, move differently, speak differently, stop seeking validation, stop offering justifications. Make your decisions and let them stand. And watch how the world starts treating you differently. There is no greater insult than being ignored by someone you gave your time, your energy, your heart to. It stings. It burns. It makes you question your worth. You sit there replaying every interaction, wondering what you did wrong, what you could have said differently, how you could have made them see you, appreciate you, respect you. But let me tell you something. Someone who ignores you, someone who overlooks your presence, someone who acts as if your existence is an afterthought. They do not deserve your energy. They do not deserve your time, your concern, or your effort. You need to understand this. Every second you spend trying to get the attention of someone who has already dismissed you is a second you steal from yourself. There is nothing noble about chasing after people who don't care whether you stay or leave. There is nothing dignified about constantly proving your value to someone who refuses to acknowledge it. You deserve better. But you will never get better if you keep pouring your energy into people who have already decided that you are not a priority. Every unanswered message, every ignored call, every moment of silence is a message in itself. And the message is clear. They do not value you. And if they don't value you, why are you still giving them your energy? Why are you still feeding a connection that has already withered? You need to understand something. Your energy is your currency, and where you invest it determines what you get in return. Invest in people who invest in you. Pour into those who pour back into you. Love those who see you, who hear you, who respect your presence. And those who don't, let them go. Not with anger, not with resentment, but with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their worth. The hardest lesson you will ever learn is that not everyone you care about will care about you the same way, and that is not your fault. It is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of their capacity or their inability to appreciate what's right in front of them. Some people will only recognize your value when you are no longer available. Some people will only see your importance when they can no longer reach you. And that is why you must withdraw your energy, not to punish them, not to manipulate them, but to protect yourself, to protect your heart, to protect your mind, to protect your peace. Because every time you extend your energy to someone who ignores you, you are betraying yourself. You are telling yourself that their lack of effort is acceptable. You are telling yourself that their silence is something you must endure. But you don't have to. You don't have to sit there waiting for someone to realize your worth. You don't have to keep giving to someone who only takes. You don't have to keep trying to explain yourself to someone who has already decided not to hear you. Your worth isn't up for debate. Your value isn't something to be proven. It simply is. and the ones who can see it won't need an explanation. Let me ask you something. How many times have you reached out to someone only to be met with coldness? How many times have you fought to hold on to relationships that the other person didn't even care enough to maintain? How many times have you begged, overextended, and lost pieces of yourself just trying to keep someone in your life, and what did it leave you with? Pain, confusion, doubt. It made you question your own worth, but the truth is, you were never the problem. You were more than enough. You were simply giving your heart to the wrong people. People who became comfortable taking you for granted. People who knew you would be there no matter how little they gave. But that ends today. Today, you make a different choice. You choose to pull back your energy. You choose to protect your peace. You choose to stop forcing connections that were never meant for you. And when you do that, when you finally withdraw, everything becomes clear. You start to see who is truly there for you and who was only around when it was convenient. You realize that the people who value you will never make you question your place in their life. You won't have to chase them, beg them, or convince them. They will meet you halfway without you ever having to ask. And the ones who don't, they will feel your absence. They'll notice the energy they used to take for granted is no longer available to them. Some might even try to come back. Some might try to find a way back into your life. But by then, you'll have changed. You'll no longer be the person willing to settle for crumbs. You will have learned that your energy, your time, and your heart are sacred, and not everyone deserves access to them. Understand this. People value what they have to earn. The easier you make yourself available, the less they appreciate you. It's human nature. But when you pull back, when you stop reaching out first, when you stop being the one who always tries, you shift the dynamic. You take your power back. Suddenly, the same people who once ignored you start wondering why you're gone. They start realizing your presence was a privilege, not a guarantee. And that's when you'll see the truth. They'll either step up or they'll disappear. Either way, you win. Either way, you are free. There is nothing more painful than chasing people who don't see your value. But there is nothing more powerful than standing in your worth and refusing to settle for anything less than mutual effort. You are not needy. You are not desperate. You are not unworthy. You are someone who deserves to be loved, respected, and appreciated fully and freely. And if someone can't recognize that, they have no place in your life. No more explaining, no more convincing, no more overextending. Pull back your energy and watch how quickly the world adjusts. Watch how quickly people who took you for granted start craving your attention. And watch how, for the first time, you no longer feel the need to give it away. Silence is one of the most powerful weapons you have, yet it's the most misunderstood. People think silence means weakness. They think it means surrender. But real silence is strength. It is discipline. It is control. When you learn to embrace silence, you stop reacting to everything. You stop offering explanations. You stop giving people free access to your mind, your emotions, your power. You become unpredictable, and unpredictability is intimidating. When they don't know what you're thinking, they can't manipulate you. When they can't read you, they can't control you. And that is what forces respect. Most people waste energy arguing, explaining, proving just to win validation from people who don't even deserve to hear their side. But the real power lies in saying nothing at all. Silence forces people to sit with their own thoughts. It forces them to wonder. It creates mystery, and mystery demands attention. The less you say, the more power you hold. The less you explain, the more people respect what little you choose to reveal. Silence makes people uncomfortable because it exposes their own insecurities. They expect you to explain, to defend, to engage. And when you don't, they feel the weight of your absence. Remember this: silence speaks louder than anything you could ever say. And once you master the art of silence, you stop chasing after respect, and you start commanding it. Silence tells the world that you are in control. It shows them you aren't desperate for attention, validation, or approval. It signals that you know your worth, and you don't need to prove it to anyone. Think back to the last time someone tried to provoke you. Maybe they insulted you, maybe they disrespected you, maybe they said something just to see how you'd react. What did you do? Did you fire back? Did you explain yourself? Did you argue? And what did it leave you with? More frustration, more wasted energy, more doubt. Now imagine if you had stayed silent. Imagine if you had just looked them in the eye, absorbed their words, and said nothing. Imagine how much more powerful that would have been, because silence forces people to second-guess themselves. It makes them question their own behavior. It leaves them wondering what you're thinking, what you're planning, what you know that they don't. There's a reason why the strongest people speak the least. They don't waste words, they don't seek validation, and they sure don't argue to prove a point. They watch, they listen, they calculate. And when they do speak, their words hit differently, because silence taught everyone around them to listen. Silence commands attention. Silence makes people lean in. Silence forces them to take you seriously. Most people are terrified of silence because silence exposes the truth. It shows you who respects you and who was only around for what they could take. It reveals who cares about you and who was only comfortable using you. When you pull back your energy, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop filling the silence with justifications, you finally see people for who they are. You see who reaches out when you're no longer doing all the work. You see who stays when you no longer make it easy for them. Silence is a test, and it always brings out the truth. And when you learn how to use it, you gain something most people will never have: clarity. Because there will always be people who push you, provoke you, bait you into reacting. That's when your silence becomes your strongest weapon. When you don't react, you strip their power away. When you don't explain yourself, you leave them questioning themselves, not you. That's how you win, not by arguing, not by over-explaining, but by discipline, by knowing when to speak and when to say absolutely nothing. Most people never master this. They feel uncomfortable with empty spaces. They talk to fill the silence. They argue just to be heard. They explain endlessly just to be understood. But the ones who understand true power know silence can't be twisted. It can't be argued with. It can't be manipulated. Silence stands unshakable. Imagine how different your life would be if you mastered silence. If you stopped reacting to every provocation. If you stopped wasting words on people who don't even listen. If you stopped explaining yourself to people who already made up their mind. Imagine how much stronger, how much more respected, how much more powerful you would feel. There is strength in silence. There is confidence in silence. There is freedom in silence. When you stop responding to nonsense, you stop inviting nonsense into your life. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop asking for permission to be who you are. When you stop reacting, you stop giving your power away. And that is when everything starts to change. That is when people start to treat you differently. That is when they start to respect you, not because you demanded it, not because you explained yourself into exhaustion, but because they can feel your power without you saying a word. They can feel your silence. And that is something no one can ever ignore. Time, your time, is the most valuable thing you will ever own. Yet most people treat it like it's endless. They waste it on empty conversations, meaningless arguments, and relationships that drain them. They give it away like it's nothing, acting as if they have forever. But let me tell you something. You don't. Time is gold, and once it's gone for good. You can lose money and earn it back. You can miss opportunities and find new ones. But time, once wasted, is lost forever. Every second you spend trying to fix the wrong relationships, argue the wrong arguments, chase after the wrong people, is a second you will never get back. And one day, you'll wake up and realize that the greatest thief in your life wasn't them. It was you. You stole your own time every time you allowed people and situations that didn't deserve you to keep you stuck. Your time is your power. Where you invest it determines the life you build. If you pour it into the wrong people, the wrong distractions, the wrong environments, you will live a life that reflects that emptiness. But if you guard it, if you protect your time like the treasure it is, everything around you will change. You will attract people who respect your time, your energy, your presence, and you will finally live like someone who knows their worth. You will start accomplishing things that once felt impossible. You'll begin to move with purpose, with clarity, with a sense of control over your own life. Because here's the truth: how you spend your time is how you spend your life. And if you're not careful, you'll waste your life trying to please people who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared tomorrow. Most people take time for granted. They act like they'll always have more. They say, "I'll do it later," never realizing that later is never promised. They say, "I have time," while every second is quietly slipping away. Every moment you spend in the wrong place with the wrong people is a moment stolen from your own future. If you're not intentional about where your time goes, someone else will gladly decide for you. They'll use it, drain it, waste it, and they won't lose a minute of sleep over it. People only respect the boundaries you set. If you treat your time like it's disposable, everyone else will too. Think about it. How many hours have you wasted on people who didn't appreciate you? How many days have you spent in environments that did nothing for your growth? How many years have you invested in relationships that never valued you? Ask yourself, was it worth it? What did you gain? Did it make you stronger? Did it push you forward? Did it bring you peace? Or did it leave you feeling drained, frustrated, and lost? If the answer is the latter, then it's time to make a change. It's time to treat your time like gold. It's time to start valuing every second like it's sacred, because it is. The people who succeed in life aren't always the most talented or the most connected. They are the ones who master how to use their time. They don't waste it trying to prove themselves to people who don't matter. They don't give it away to distractions. They don't allow anyone to drain their energy without consequences. They understand that every hour spent on the wrong things is an hour stolen from the right things. That's why they move differently. That's why they don't answer every call, show up to every event, or entertain every person. They are selective, and that's exactly why they are powerful. When you start valuing your time, people will notice. Some will respect you for it. Others will resent you because they can no longer use you. But that's the price of self-respect. That's the cost of taking control of your life. And you must be willing to pay it. Because if you don't, you'll continue running in circles, feeling like you're giving everything and getting nothing back. And that is no way to live. Your time is gold. It's the most precious resource you'll ever have. And if you don't start treating it that way, one day you'll look back and realize you wasted years on things, people, and situations that never deserved you. Guard it, protect it, invest it wisely. Because once it's gone forever. There comes a moment in life when you have to decide who you're going to be. Not who they want you to be, not who they expect you to be, but who you are meant to be. And that decision starts with one thing: self-respect. Because without self-respect, you have nothing. Without it, you'll let people walk all over you. You'll tolerate disrespect. You'll accept far less than you deserve, all because you never made self-respect non-negotiable. You'll find yourself looking for validation, letting others' opinions define you, shrinking yourself to fit inside places you outgrew long ago. But today, that ends. Today, you take your power back. Self-respect isn't something you ask for. It's something you demand. It's something you enforce. It's something you live by, no matter who likes it and who doesn't. Because the moment you truly start respecting yourself, some people will fall away. Some will call you difficult. Some will say, "You've changed," and you'll know they're right. You have changed. You have changed because you're done begging for basic decency. You're done being someone's backup plan. You're done settling for crumbs when you deserve the feast. Making self-respect non-negotiable means cutting ties with people who don't value you. It means you stop explaining yourself to those who never deserved to hear your heart in the first place. It means you raise your standards, and you never lower them just to keep people around who never truly cared. Because the moment you compromise your self-respect is the moment you hand over your power. And hear me when I say this. The people who truly matter will never ask you to shrink yourself to fit into their small world. They won't require you to abandon your dignity to keep their attention. Look back at the times you accepted less, at the moments you stayed silent when you should have walked away, at the excuses you made for people who kept showing you they didn't care. Those moments were lessons, not failures. And now you know better. Now it's time to move different. Now it's time to expect more. Now it's time to finally act like someone who knows exactly what they're worth and refuses to accept anything less. What did it ever get you? Pain, disappointment, emptiness. And the worst part is, it was never worth it. Because the more you tolerated, the less they respected you. The more you gave, the less they valued you. That's the truth about people. They will take as much as you allow. If you don't set boundaries, if you don't make self-respect a priority, they will walk all over you without a second thought. Making self-respect non-negotiable means knowing your worth so deeply that no one can shake it. It means refusing to stay in places where you're not valued. It means walking away the very first time someone disrespects you, not waiting for it to become a pattern. Because patterns don't change, people do. And if someone can disrespect you once and get away with it, they will do it again. But if you show them from the start that you're not someone to be played with, they'll think twice before even trying. Some people will test you. They'll push your limits just to see how much you'll take. They'll pretend to care just to see if they can control you. And when they realize they can't, they'll call you names. They'll say you're cold. They'll say you're distant. They'll say you've changed. Good. Let them. That's the price of self-respect, and it's a price worth paying, because the alternative is far worse. A life where you're constantly bending, constantly breaking, constantly begging for validation from people who don't even deserve to know you. That's a life of misery, a life of regret, a life where you wake up one day and realize you gave everyone else the power to define you and lost yourself in the process, but not anymore. From this moment on, you move differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself with a level of confidence that makes it clear you are not to be played with. You don't explain your boundaries. You don't negotiate your standards. You don't beg for respect. Because respect isn't something you ask for. It's something you embody. And when you live it, when you breathe it, when you refuse to compromise it, people have no choice but to recognize it. Self-respect isn't arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about knowing you're enough exactly as you are. It's about understanding that you don't have to prove your worth to anyone. It's about refusing to shrink, to settle, to tolerate anything less than what you deserve. And if that means walking away from certain people, so be it. If that means spending time alone, so be it. If that means disappointing those who only loved you when you were easy to control, so be it. Because losing them is nothing compared to losing yourself. When you make self-respect non-negotiable, everything changes. People start treating you differently. Some will admire you, others will resent you, but either way, you win. Because either way, you reclaim the most valuable thing you could ever have, your power. And once you get it back, no one can take it from you again. There comes a moment when you realize it doesn't matter how much you give, how much you try, how brightly you shine. There will always be someone who doubts you, who criticizes you, who refuses to see your worth. And if you're not careful, you'll waste your entire life chasing their approval. You'll spend years bending, shrinking, molding yourself into something you're not, just to be accepted, just to hear someone say you're enough. But let me tell you the truth. If you spend your life waiting for validation, you will never truly live. Because the more you seek their approval, the more power you hand away. The more you crave their applause, the more you become a prisoner to opinions that were never worth chasing. You don't need their approval. You don't need their permission. You don't need their applause to know who you are. The moment you stop seeking validation is the moment you take full control of your life. It's the moment you realize the only opinion that truly matters is the one you hold of yourself. If you believe in yourself, that's enough. If you respect yourself, that's enough. If deep down you know you are capable, worthy, valuable, you don't need another soul to confirm it, because people are fickle. They'll validate you one day and tear you down the next. They'll love you when it's easy and leave when it's not. And if your confidence depends on their approval, you'll always be at their mercy. Think back to the moments you sought validation. Think about the times you waited for someone else to believe in you before you believed in yourself. The times you held back because you were afraid of what they might say. The times you twisted yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. What did it ever bring you? Nothing lasting, nothing real. And that's why from now on, you build your life on self-respect, not on their opinions, not on their approval, but on the unwavering belief that you are already enough. Did it make you happy? Did it bring you peace? Or did it leave you feeling hollow, like no matter how much you gave, it was never enough? That's the trap of validation. It keeps you chasing a moving target. It keeps you looking outward for something only you can give yourself. The people who truly love you, who truly respect you, will never make you feel like you have to earn your worth. They won't make you prove yourself. They won't play games with your value or set impossible hoops for you to jump through. The ones who constantly demand validation are the ones who never valued you to begin with. And those are exactly the people you must stop living for. Because if you keep chasing their approval, you will always be trapped by it. When you stop seeking validation, everything shifts. You start making choices based on what is right for you, not what will please someone else. You stop second-guessing yourself. You move with conviction, with clarity, with strength. And yes, some people won't like it. Some will call you arrogant. Some will say you've changed, but you haven't changed. You've simply stopped needing their validation. And that makes them uncomfortable because it means they can no longer control how you see yourself. They can no longer pull the strings. Look at the most powerful, most successful people in the world. Do you think they waited for permission to believe in themselves? Do you think they paused every time someone doubted them? No, they moved forward anyway. They built their lives not on applause, but on self-belief. And that's exactly what you must do. You have to stop asking, do they approve? And start asking, do I believe in this? Do I believe in myself? Because at the end of the day, that's all that truly matters. When you live for validation, you live in fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of being not enough. And fear will paralyze you. It will keep you playing small. It will make you afraid to take risks, afraid to stand out, afraid to live boldly. But when you release that need for approval, you unlock real freedom. The freedom to be yourself, to fail, to rise, to chase the life you were meant to live. And that kind of freedom, it's priceless. The people who spend their lives chasing validation never find it. Because even when they get it, it fades. They are always chasing the next compliment, the next nod of approval, the next temporary high that says, you're enough. But the ones who break free, the ones who stop looking outward and build inward, they create something different. They walk into rooms with quiet confidence. They don't have to demand respect. They attract it. They set boundaries. They protect their peace. And because they stand firm in who they are, the world around them adjusts. You have to understand this. Your value doesn't shrink because someone else refuses to see it. Your worth isn't tied to their ability to recognize it. You are enough, exactly as you are. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to prove it. You just need to own it. And when you do, everything around you starts to change. Because when you stop seeking validation, you start living for yourself. And that is the most powerful thing you could ever do. There comes a time in life when you realize some people are not meant to stay. Some people are only there to drain you, to break you, to hold you back. And the biggest mistake you can make is thinking you owe them an explanation. You don't. You don't have to announce your departure. You don't have to justify why you are protecting your peace. You don't need to defend why you're leaving toxicity behind. You just walk away, quietly, boldly, without hesitation. Because toxic people don't change. They don't wake up one day and realize the damage they've done. They don't suddenly decide to be better. They do what they've always done. Take advantage of your kindness, exploit your loyalty, weaponize your love. And the longer you stay, the more you feed the cycle. The more you reason with them, the more you give them second, third, and fourth chances, the deeper you sink into pain. They apologize just enough to keep you hooked, only to hurt you all over again. The only way to break free is to walk away, without warning, without debate, without second guessing. The truth is, most people are afraid to leave because they think toxic people deserve closure. They think they owe one last conversation, one last explanation, one last chance for things to change. But let me tell you, closure is a trap. Closure is just another trick to pull you back into the same cycle. Toxic people don't want closure. They want control. They want one more opportunity to convince you to stay, to manipulate you into giving them another chance. But nothing changes. Nothing ever does. And if you want peace, if you want freedom, you have to stop waiting for closure and start giving yourself permission to move on. No goodbyes, no explanations, just silence, just peace. Toxic people don't want to change, and they just want to keep you under their control. When you walk away without warning, you take that power back. You send a clear message: I will not be manipulated. I will not tolerate disrespect. I will not entertain chaos. And yes, some people will get angry. Some will call you heartless. Some will try to guilt trip you into feeling like the villain for choosing yourself. But understand this: people who truly love you, who truly respect you, would never put you in a position where you have to choose between them and your own peace. The only ones who get upset when you leave are the ones who were benefiting from your suffering. Think about all the times you stayed in toxic situations longer than you should have. Think about the times you ignored the red flags, forgave the unforgivable, gave chance after chance to people who never deserved you. What did that get you? Did they change? Did they finally appreciate your kindness? Or did they take it for granted, knowing you would never leave? Toxic people don't respect your patience. They don't value your forgiveness. They don't care about how deeply you love, because they only care about themselves. And as long as you keep giving, they will keep taking. Walking away is not weakness. It is not cruelty. It is survival. It is the ultimate act of self-respect. It is standing up and saying, I refuse to carry someone else's dysfunction. I refuse to waste my energy trying to fix what was never mine to fix. The hard truth is, some people are beyond saving. Some will never acknowledge the hurt they caused. Some will never change, no matter how much of yourself you pour into them. And the longer you stay, the more you lose yourself trying to save someone who doesn't even want to be saved. But the moment you walk away, you reclaim your peace. You stop explaining yourself to people who never cared to listen. You stop wasting your breath on conversations that lead nowhere. You stop letting their negativity control your mood, your energy, your life. Yes, it will be hard. Yes, you will miss them. Yes, you will doubt yourself at times, because toxic people have a way of making you believe you can't live without them. But that's a lie. You were whole before them, and you will be whole after them. The only thing you are losing is the chaos, the pain, the endless cycles they dragged you through. And when you walk away without warning, you don't just leave. You leave them with something they can't manipulate: silence. And in that silence, they are forced to confront the truth. They are forced to realize that you were never the problem, that you were the one holding everything together, that you were the only one who truly cared. Some will try to come back. They will send messages. They will make promises. They will say all the right things. But don't fall for it. If they truly valued you, they would have never put you in a position where you had to leave in the first place. They don't miss you. They miss the control they lost. They miss the convenience you gave them. But you've already made your choice. You've already chosen peace over chaos, self-respect over toxicity, freedom over manipulation. And that is a decision you will never regret. Walking away without warning is not about being cruel. It's about being done. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that you refuse to negotiate it. It's about choosing yourself in a world that tries to make you feel guilty for doing so. It's about accepting that some people will never change, and the only way to win is to walk away completely. At the end of the day, your peace, your happiness, your well-being, they are your responsibility. And you owe it to yourself to protect them, even if it means walking away from people you once cared about. There comes a point in your life when you must stop being available to everyone except yourself. A moment when you realize that constantly saying yes when your heart screams no is the quickest way to betray yourself. Every time you say yes out of guilt, you say no to your own peace. Every time you say yes just to please others, you say no to your own happiness. And if you're not careful, you will spend your whole life being everything to everyone except yourself. You will pour into others until there's nothing left for yourself. You will stretch yourself thin trying to meet everyone's expectations while ignoring your own needs. And at the end of the day, you'll look in the mirror, exhausted, drained, empty, and wonder how you got there. But here's the truth. You were not put on this earth to be a people pleaser. You were not born to sacrifice your well-being to make everyone else comfortable. You were not meant to say yes while your heart screams no, because every time you abandon yourself to please others, you teach them something. You teach them that your time, your energy, your boundaries are up for negotiation. You show them that you'll always be available, no matter the cost to your own soul. And the more you give, the more they take. The more they expect, the more they demand. Until one day you wake up and realize you've been living for everyone except yourself. Saying no isn't selfish. It's survival. It's self-respect. It's recognizing when something doesn't serve you and having the strength to walk away. The hard truth is people will take as much as you allow them to. They will drain you if you let them. They will use you if you don't set clear boundaries. And the only way to stop it is to stand firm in your no. To stop apologizing, to stop explaining, to stop feeling guilty for choosing yourself. Think about all the times you said yes when you wanted to say no, the favors you agreed to out of guilt, the events you forced yourself to attend even though you were exhausted, the relationships you stayed in long after they stopped nourishing your soul. And for what? Did they appreciate you more? Did it bring you peace? Or did it leave you feeling resentful, frustrated, and hollow? That's what happens when you live to please others. You lose yourself. You become a puppet pulled by the strings of their expectations, their needs, their convenience. And you forget that you have every right to say no, simply because you want to. The moment you start saying no without guilt, everything shifts. You start protecting your energy like it's sacred. You start prioritizing your own peace like your life depends on it, because it does. And yes, some people will not like it. Some will call you selfish. Some will say you've changed. But the truth is you haven't changed. You've simply stopped being available for people who took you for granted. You've stopped sacrificing your well-being just to keep others comfortable. You've stopped letting guilt control your decisions. And that is the most powerful shift you can ever make. Because when you say no, you're not just rejecting a request. You're affirming your worth. You're standing in your power and declaring, my time matters, my energy matters, my peace matters. You remind yourself that you are not responsible for fixing everyone's problems. You are not responsible for carrying everyone's burdens. You are not responsible for keeping everyone happy at the expense of your own soul. And if someone gets upset because you refuse to overextend yourself, that's not your burden to carry. People who truly love and respect you will honor your boundaries. They will not guilt trip you for protecting your time. They will not make you feel bad for choosing yourself. The only people who get upset when you say no are the ones who were benefiting from your inability to do so. And that's exactly why you must stand firm. Because the ones who only liked you for what you could give them were never truly there for you to begin with. Start saying no without guilt, and watch your life transform. Watch the users fade away. Watch your peace expand. Watch your confidence grow. Because when you stop saying yes out of guilt, you start living for yourself. You start prioritizing your own happiness. You start making decisions that align with your purpose, not with their convenience. And that kind of freedom, it's life-changing. You don't need permission to say no. You don't need a perfect excuse. You don't need to explain yourself. No is a full sentence. Use it. Own it. Stand by it. And never apologize for choosing yourself. Because the moment you start doing that, you reclaim your life in a way that most people never will. There comes a point when you have to make a decision. Do you want to keep living for everyone else? Or do you finally want to live for yourself? Do you want to keep worrying about who approves, who stays, who leaves? Or do you want to pour all of that energy back into the only person who truly matters? You? Because here's the truth. The second you stop chasing, stop begging, stop forcing yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you, your entire life changes. You stop surviving, and you start living. You step into a version of yourself that no one can touch. And that's when everything changes. People will drain you if you let them. They'll pull you into their drama, distract you from your purpose, and keep you so tangled in their chaos that you forget about your own life. And the worst part? They won't even appreciate it. They won't see the sacrifices you made. They won't acknowledge how much you bent over backward for them. Because most people are too consumed with themselves to notice anything else. Meanwhile, you're losing sleep over people who wouldn't even lose a moment of theirs for you. You're delaying your dreams to help them build theirs. You're putting yourself last. Again. But that ends the moment you make a different decision. The moment you stop pouring your energy into people who don't deserve it and start turning it inward, you become unstoppable. You start to feel lighter. You start to see progress. You start walking with a different energy. Because you finally realize that you are not responsible for saving everyone else. You realize that the time you were wasting could have been spent building yourself into something extraordinary. And that is when you separate yourself from the rest. That's when you start winning. Not because you're better than anyone else, but because you finally chose yourself. Most people never focus on themselves because they're afraid. Afraid of what people will say, afraid of losing connections, afraid of being alone. But let me tell you something. When you focus on yourself, you don't lose anything that was meant to stay. The people who love you will support your growth. The ones who walk away were never meant to stay. The doors that close were never aligned with your destiny to begin with. So stop hesitating. Stop feeling guilty for choosing yourself. Because the second you do, you'll realize how much time you wasted worrying about people who were never worried about you. There is nothing selfish about focusing on your own journey. Nothing wrong with saying, I come first. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to save you. Nobody's going to make sure you succeed. Nobody's going to protect your mental, emotional, or financial health but you. And if you don't make yourself a priority, if you don't put in the work for your own growth, you will spend your life watching everyone else win while you stay stuck where you are. And that is not what you were born for. You were born to build. You were born to grow. You were born to be so focused on your own purpose that you don't even notice who's watching, who's talking, who's coming, or who's going. When you focus on yourself, you stop being available for distractions. You stop answering calls from people who only reach out when they need something. You stop chasing after relationships that drain more than they fulfill. Because your energy is too valuable. Your time is too precious. And once you truly realize that, you start moving differently. You stop explaining yourself. You stop begging for support. You stop seeking validation. Because you're too busy building, too busy working on your goals, too busy improving yourself in ways that no one else will understand until they see the results. And trust me, when you focus on yourself, people notice. They feel the shift. Some will be inspired by it. Some will be intimidated by it. Some will try to pull you back into the old version of yourself. The one who was easier to control, easier to drain, easier to access. But that's not your concern. Your only concern is your growth. Your only concern is becoming so focused, so disciplined, so in tune with your purpose that nothing shakes you. Not opinions, not criticism, not even temporary setbacks. Because once you focus on yourself, you realize that everything else is just noise, and you don't have time for noise. Most people never reach their full potential because they stay distracted. They stay caught up in everyone else's business. They spend their lives worrying about who likes them, who supports them, who's watching. But when you truly lock in on your own growth, none of that matters anymore. You stop competing. You stop comparing. Because the only competition you recognize is the person you were yesterday. Your only mission becomes this: be better than you were yesterday. Stronger, sharper, more focused, more disciplined. So make the decision today. Make the decision to pour into yourself like never before. Wake up every day and ask, what can I do today that will move my life forward? Spend your energy building something real, instead of wasting it on people and situations that don't deserve it. And watch what happens. Watch your peace grow. Watch your confidence soar. Watch your life start to transform in ways you never thought possible. Because the truth is, once you focus on yourself without apology, you realize the secret that was always there. You were the key. You were the solution. You were the answer all along. And the only thing standing between you and the life you deserve was the choice. The choice to finally, unapologetically, put yourself first. As we come to the end of this moment together, I want you to take a deep breath. A breath that marks the shift you're about to make in your life. A breath that symbolizes the moment you finally choose yourself. Because that's what this journey is really about. Choosing yourself, no matter the noise, no matter the doubts, no matter the challenges that try to pull you back into old patterns. It's about committing to the person you are becoming, not the person others expect you to be. The road ahead won't be easy. It won't always be smooth. There will be moments when you question yourself, moments when you doubt your worth, moments when others try to pull you down, make you feel like you're either too much or not enough. But I need you to remember something. None of that matters if you stay focused. None of that matters if you keep your eyes on your peace, your growth, your journey. Because when you focus on yourself, truly focus, when you embrace the power of saying no, when you walk away from toxicity without a second thought, when you master the strength of silence and stop explaining yourself to anyone, that's when you start to see real change. That's when you step fully into your own light. Understand this: your time, your energy, your peace, they belong to you. They are yours to protect. You were not born to serve everyone else at the cost of yourself. You were born to evolve, to rise, to become the best version of who you are meant to be. And that takes sacrifice. It takes looking yourself in the eye and declaring, I am worth it. I deserve peace. I deserve respect. I deserve to put myself first. Once you make that commitment, everything around you will start to shift. As you move forward, remember this too. It's okay to walk away from what no longer serves you. It's okay to leave behind people who don't appreciate you. It's okay to say no without guilt, to focus on yourself without apology. In fact, it's necessary, because the longer you stay distracted by everyone else's needs, the further you drift from your own purpose. And once you lose sight of your purpose, you lose your direction. But when you truly focus on yourself, your goals, your peace, your growth, a quiet, unshakable confidence starts to build inside you. People will notice, some will resist it, some will be inspired, some will try to pull you back into the old version of yourself, the version that was easier for them to manage. But none of that is your concern. Your only concern is your growth. Your only responsibility is to walk the path meant for you, even if you have to walk it alone. Because walking alone doesn't mean being alone. It means walking with purpose, walking with intention, walking toward the life you deserve, the life you were always meant to claim. You are worthy of it all: peace, respect, success, happiness. But it starts with one decision: to focus on yourself. It starts with you choosing yourself every day, prioritizing your peace, refusing to apologize for protecting your well-being. You owe no one an explanation for that. You owe no one an apology for saying no to what doesn't align with your values, your goals, your future. Understand this: the moment you stop chasing approval, the moment you stop seeking validation from others, you set yourself free. You take back your power. You stop letting outside opinions control how you feel about yourself. And in that freedom, you become unstoppable. When you focus on yourself like never before, you stop letting other people's problems become your burden. You stop absorbing negativity that isn't yours. You stop sacrificing your peace to carry the weight of someone else's chaos. You realize your peace is priceless, and you vow to protect it no matter the cost. You will walk away from any situation, any person, any relationship that threatens your peace, because you finally understand peace is the foundation of everything. Without it, nothing else in your life will stand. So take the lessons you've learned today and carry them forward. Walk with confidence. Walk with clarity. Walk with purpose. Make the decision every single day to focus on yourself. Choose yourself. Prioritize your peace, without hesitation, without guilt. And as you do, you will watch your entire world change. You will watch how the people around you begin to treat you differently. You will watch how your life begins to reflect the strength you finally chose to stand in. But most importantly, you'll notice how you begin to treat yourself differently. The moment you stop pouring all your energy into others, the moment you reclaim your time, your peace, your power, you will become unstoppable. A force that cannot be pulled back, no matter how hard anyone tries. Because once you step fully into your power, once you focus on yourself without hesitation, there is no going back. There is only forward. And forward is where the magic begins. It won't always be easy. There will be days when life tries to pull you in 100 different directions. There will be moments when doubt creeps in. But trust this: the best decision you will ever make is the decision to invest in yourself. To declare, I am worth the time. I am worth the effort. I am worth the energy. Because when you start putting yourself first, the world around you will rise to meet that energy. So as you step out of this space today, walk tall, walk boldly, walk with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are enough, who knows they are worthy. Know that the path you are on, this journey of choosing yourself, is exactly the path you were meant to take. The people who truly value you will stand beside you. The ones who don't will fall away. And that's not your loss. It's your liberation. Because you are no longer available for anything or anyone that does not respect your peace and your power. Thank you for choosing to invest in yourself today. Thank you for making the decision to rise higher. Thank you for choosing you. May you always walk in your truth. May you always honor your worth. And may you never forget, the most powerful relationship you will ever have is the one you build with yourself. Protect it, nurture it, honor it. Keep shining, keep rising, and never ever forget, when you stay true to yourself, the world will eventually have no choice but to respect it. Stay true, stay powerful, and go claim the life that was always meant for you. Thank you.